Hello, and welcome to After TCGS, the show after the show about this show. I'm your moderator, Bryson Wallace, and if you like that music there at the top, that's courtesy of Geth Head Jared Sparks. That's the song Ambiguous by his band Don't. We'll put links and everything in the description, comments below of all the Geth Head contributions to this after show that we're doing here. If you have any contributions that you'd like to make, please feel free to reach out to me, Bryson Wallace, in the Facebook group. We would love to have anything that you want to contribute to the show, make this as much of a collaborative Geth Head after show as possible. So feel free to reach out to me there. If you want to catch our full archive of these After TCGS interviews, you can go to adumbthing.com/aftertcgs. Have a bunch of really great conversations there, including a half-hour-long silent interview with Chris Gethard, in which I forgot to turn on my microphone. So be sure to check those out. Murph's interview last week in particular was really great. But I want to get to my guest this week, a man I'm excited to talk to. Met him in person last fall. Please help me welcome to the show, Patrick Cotnoir. Patrick, how are you?
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Hello and welcome. Let me just make sure that our levels are good here. Thank you so much for doing this and spending your Wednesday night with us. Last night was pretty insane. How was your last night?
I mean, it was probably as crazy as it looked like it was on TV. It was a crazy episode. It was really fun. It took a lot of running around and just getting everything perfect. It was sort of a little reminiscent of Metro Pass from last year with Timothy Simons, where it's just like, you got 2.5 minutes to go run around and make sure Will gets his white vest on, and it's, we got to change his shoe. Like, just everything had to be changed, and it was crazy, and especially having him there. You know what I mean? Like, if it had been anyone else, it would have been crazy, but adding the fact that it was Will Ferrell, made it a little more surreal.
Especially Harry. Well, it was fantastic. I definitely got Metro Pass vibes off of it. Definitely an episode that did not go the way that a lot of people expected or intended. Things getting pretty vague, I'm noticing, in like Skype signups and like show topics. Things are getting off the rails vague.
Hey man, we're going hard, and you guys just need to get on the train and accept that. That's just how it is now.
Skype signups, and it's like, what's whatever the one was for this week. It was like, describe the sound of silence or something vague like that.
Yeah.
I got too intimidated.
I get that. Skype's a hard thing because you want to make sure you got really fun people on there who are down to sort of roll with the punches. And I think they just want, if you put out a good, fun submission, they're more than likely to reach out.
Yeah.
And we don't want to spoil stuff for you. You don't want that.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
For anybody who may not be aware, explain your role on the show.
Sure. So I am the talent producer on the show, which means I book any guest talent or character actors or, basically anyone who does anything on the show sort of falls under my purview.
Gotcha. So writers are coming to you beforehand with whatever, like in the case of this week's episode, we had the dance group. I'm forgetting the name. Help me out.
Cocoon Central dance team. I think it's dance team. I always want to say group at the end, but I think it's dance team.
Gotcha. Okay,
they're great though. They're the best.
So you're clued in by the team as to what's going on that week. If they need to reach out to somebody like that, you're the man that's booking that.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes writers or Gethard or somebody will reach out to them a little bit earlier just to be like, hey, heads up. If you're free, we'd love to have you, stuff like that. And then I'll usually go through the reps or go through the person directly and get them all locked in and get the contracts, all the very interesting nitty-gritty contract details taken care of, and all their SAG paperwork and all that great. I gotta make sure I have a picture of their passport. A lot of really fun stuff, Bryce. It's part of the store paperwork.
We need their passport.
I mean, passport. You could do. Oh, you really want all this? All right, so you can do passport. Or you can do your driver's license and a social security card. You have to have both of those, or like a New York State ID, some kind of like photo ID. But passport is the ideal one just because it sort of usurps everything else.
So you got at your desk a copy of Will Ferrell's passport.
Well, that's more for the character actors and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Because for the guests itself, a lot of them have corporations and companies, and you're getting a lot of stuff from uh, the agents. But in some cases, yeah. In some cases, the agents will send that stuff over
Gotcha. And we're not
because you got to
trying.
get paid. That's how you get paid.
I guess so. I guess so. That checks out. That checks out. Now, we
Yeah.
did ask people beforehand, and if anybody's watching right now, if you have a question for Patrick, definitely leave it in the comments. I was collecting some ahead of time. We'll get right into those. Mary asks, "When's the wedding?"
Hey, listen. I mean, I feel like I have to explain this to people because I assume the majority of people have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah.
I got this hashtag on Twitter that I use that's hashtag Cotnoir wedding, and it was just talking about how I wanted to get married before the end of 2016, and then before the end of 2017, and I want to get married before the end of 2018. So we're working on it, and we'll get there. Mary, I'm sure you'll be the first to know.
Okay. I'm sure save the dates will go out at
Yes,
at an accurate amount of time ahead.
first, first into the Geth Heads group, and then to friends and family. Beyond that.
Great. Mary's actually watching right now and says, I have no idea what it's about either, to be fair. So
That's fair. I mean, listen, guys, if you want to see the whole ordeal, you can just search Cotnoir Wedding on Twitter and just go back. You'll see it all started at a friend of the show, AJ McKeon's wedding. I was there having a great time, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time for this guy. Let me co-opt AJ's wedding with my wedding hat.
Let's make this about me. How? In what ways can I?
I'm great at it, and I feel like any chance I can do that, I will take the opportunity.
It sounds like you're an excellent wedding guest, is what I'm hearing.
Guys, I love weddings.
Now, we should address this out the gate. Mary also asking if there's any exclusives on who the guests are for next week's. R.E. Clifton asking when's Conan going to be on. Let's get this out the gate. We're not going to have any big
I'm not dropping exclusives, guys. Yeah, no spoilers. I can't. I'll get yelled at.
Yeah.
We know everyone at the show is going to be watching this. I can't give away stuff. I wanted to look. Hang on. I'll look at you, and maybe you'll be able to read my face.
That's a good
and guess who it is.
Great.
You ready?
Okay. If anybody has any guesses off of this face, I'm picking up. Oh man, I'm picking up a Paul Rudd off of that face.
Interesting. Okay. Hey, keep your eyes peeled. Maybe we'll see Paul Rudd in the studio next week.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay. Yeah. Do we not have a guest announced for next week? I guess we don't, right?
No, there's not. You'll know very soon. It's a very fun one. Great person, and they're gonna be great on the show.
Oh man, you are excellent at walking this.
I'm very good at it.
Tightrope.
Yes.
Man.
Yes. Years of practice.
Now, this is completely unrelated. If you would just indulge me for a second here, thinking this was a tangential, thinking about Conan's name being dropped and somebody asking about that, thinking Letterman in that realm and everything, because I know Chris has said that Letterman's a dream guest. I was reading the IMDb trivia for the movie Man on the Moon recently.
Yeah.
Great
movie. Letterman plays himself. Lauren plays himself. Great movie.
Yeah. Stay with me here, though. One of the pieces of IMDb trivia was that Letterman refused to wear a wig or change his appearance in any way to look like he did back then. Just
why?
Yeah.
Why? Guys, here. Let's talk about Man on the Moon for a second.
Okay, great.
I recommend everyone goes and watches this. It's really interesting. A lot of the facts are wrong, but there's so many people playing themselves from 30 years earlier, and it's so bizarre and strange, and just the fact that they made Lorne Michael dye his hair black is so funny, and I love it. And the movie should be on Blu-ray, but it's not.
It's not?
It's not.
That's a Blu-ray inexclusive, or whatever we want to call it.
Inexclusive. Yeah.
Now, I even watched the footage back with the actual Letterman appearance by Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler, and like Letterman didn't even bother like wearing a remotely similar tie or a similar suit.
Nothing.
They decorated the Late Show set to look a bit like Late Night, but not a whole lot.
The only reason that would make sense in my head was that movie came out in what, 99? Somewhere around there, 98, right 99, I think.
Yeah.
I'm assuming those clips weren't as readily available at that point, and they were like, who cares? Let's just go with it.
That's true.
That's my assumption, but I don't know.
That's true. But I mean, I remember
It's a great movie.
myself being familiar with the Letterman appearance from watching all of the Kaufman specials that were on Comedy
Yeah.
Central and everything. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
great. I'm glad that tangent lasted so long, Patrick. Thank you for going down that.
I always want to talk about that movie. Anytime, send me a message on Facebook.
Alex is asking, is Baby Groot actually Groot, or did Groot die and Baby Groot is his offspring or offshoot?
Guys, listen. I didn't start this whole Groot thing. I didn't start this. I haven't asked for it. It just happens.
Yeah.
I'm going with the James Gunn route where old Groot's dead, baby.
Okay.
And we got a new one. This is the new one. This is the baby.
We got a new
now
baby
this
Groot.
baby's growing up. He's going to be a teenager. You know? But this is a brand new Groot, and the old Groot is gone forever, and you guys just need to accept that and move on.
Okay, now we should. I mean, we have had a lot of addressing things here. Is that your office has a Groot explosion in it? Would you care to elaborate?
Yeah, I used to work at the President Show on Comedy Central, Anthony Tamnick's show. They just had a special last night. You guys can go watch it on the website. When Guardians, that was a great plug. When Guardians 2 came out, they were doing this giveaway where they were like, if you enter your address, we will send a messenger to you with merch from the movie. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. One of my friends had done it, and they got like a Pop Funko doll. So I did it, and I got this like dancing, like plays music. It's the Groot in the flower pot.
Yeah.
So when I left President Show, I was like, well, I don't want to bring this home. Let's just bring it to Gethard. So I brought it to Gethard. Had one Groot in there. Like 3 days later, a second Groot toy showed up. Like 2 days after that, another one. We started getting bigger and bigger. They were like wall stickies. Fat heads. Is that what those are? Like the fat heads on the wall. We got a giant blanket. There was a child-sized mannequin dressed in a Groot Halloween costume. It was bizarre. I didn't ask for any of it. I didn't want it. Eventually, they all just disappeared from my office one day during a meeting. I don't know who took them. And then when we came back for this, like a weekend, I got a mysterious text saying, when is your first day? And then I showed up on that first day, and they were all back in my office, except for the child-sized mannequin. I don't know where that one is.
Okay, so that was a question. Sarah from the show's staff asked in the chat, what did you do with the child-sized Groot? And she's accusing you of having been responsible for the disappearance.
I promise you, I want nothing to do with these Groots, and I would not have taken them away from the office. Disappeared. You're going to have to ask around the office, Sarah.
Okay. All right, Sarah, there's your answer for you. Rob Spencer asking, did you graduate college?
I did.
Good. Where'd you go?
I didn't know there was a follow-up.
I'm curious.
I went to Pace University in the city. It's downtown. It's near Brooklyn Bridge, and I don't recommend anybody else goes there.
All right. I have somewhat similar recommendations myself, so I understand your feelings.
Great. Let's name them. Where'd you go? Say it.
No, I really cannot or shan't. Patrick, I'll explain to you when you're older.
Great. Well, I'll say it. Pace University? No.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Ari Clifton. Oh, Ari Clifton is seemingly working right now, not able to watch. He wants somebody to transcribe everything that you and I are saying for him to watch later on. Perfect.
I love it.
Now, you recently watched, because I follow you on the Twitter. I am familiar with the fact that you recently watched Muppet Guys Talking. I too recently watched Muppet Guys Talking. What were your thoughts on that doc?
I mean, I've been a Muppet fan for years. I really love it. I interned at Sesame for about a year, probably like 5 years ago. Always have been saying there should be more special features on the DVDs and stuff with the actual performers. They always seem to try to like hide them from the spotlight a little bit. You never really get to hear them talk too much. And I thought it was really good. I wish it was a lot longer. It was only 65 minutes or something, and they said they shot for like 9 hours. I want to see the rest of that.
Yeah,
I want to see it all. But yeah, it was very cool. I actually, when I was interning at Sesame, I was there the last time that Frank performed on Sesame up to this point.
Oh wow!
So he has not done it since then. He did like a Grover song, and he did a few like Boardwalk Empire parody and stuff. And then I was also there for Jerry Nelson, who is in the documentary and passed away a few years ago. I was there for his last day there too. Oh, so wow. It was So it's very cool seeing that and just seeing them talk. And I recommend it for everybody. It's only $10. You go to MuppetGuysTalking.com,
Oh,
check it
man.
out.
The plugs. The plugs.
So good at plugging, guys. So good at plugging.
I mean, you've got
check it out, though. No, it's really interesting. And I think even if you're not a big Muppet fan, I feel like you get a lot out of it just seeing how these guys work and the relationship between all of them. I feel like it's fascinating.
The thing I don't get is you're a guy with so many goddamn hats, like on your own plate and everything, and you're finding ways to plug extra stuff.
I just got to make sure Frank Oz makes his money back on this movie. That's all I want.
That seems that's what I picked up on a little bit, was a little bit of desperation on account of the release of this.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I wanted to ask you, as a man who makes a living booking guests, who would be, when we're this far removed potentially from the Gethard show, who would be your couch of 5 people talking Gethard show if Chris isn't an option?
Okay, so you're just saying like 20 years down the line, Chris, you get 5 people to chat about it?
Yeah, Chris is the Henson of the group, so he can't be a part of it. I'm not saying that Chris dies prematurely. I'm just saying that Chris isn't an option. Who are your 5 people?
I mean, let's see. It's probably got to be, oh God, anyone's going to feel mad if I leave them out, but you know what? Whatever.
Let's do it.
I got nothing to lose. Here we go. JD. Drew. I feel like, all right, so do I assign who the people are? JD's the Frank Oz here. Drew's like the Dave Goals here.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we got, I feel like you got to put Keith in there. Keith Haskell.
Yeah. Gosh, who would Keith be?
I don't know. Probably like a Bill Beretta-y.
Yeah. Maybe there's no parallels. I'm not going to hold you to
There's
parallels.
not really a direct correlation on this.
Yeah.
And then Shannon. And what is that, 4?
That's 4.
And then Tyler Orr, who's a PA on the show.
Tell me more about Tyler. How have I not heard about Tyler?
Tyler, great kid. This was his last week. He's going back to Texas.
Oh,
he worked on the show last season and this season.
So what gets Tyler on the couch there? Just a different perspective, or what do we need to know about Tyler?
I wanted to throw in someone maybe who hasn't been there from the beginning and sort of jumped in midway.
That's good. That's good. That was a good wild card.
You gotta keep the surprises there. And I feel like he has a perspective than anyone else.
No kidding. All right. Well, then we'll look for it. However many years down the line, you'll be the one desperately trying to release this documentary on the Chris Gethard shows.
Yep. GethardGuysTalking.com.
Yeah. And the term guys has been problematic for some people. We'll find a different way.
It's fine. Sorry.
Alex Brown saying, I know you mostly as Diddy's assistant talent booger, but what are you generally doing during the course of a taping?
Yeah. So during the taping, it's mostly, I mean, at a certain point, the train's running and there's not much you can do to stop it. You sort of just sit back and watch. A lot of it's just checking in during commercial breaks. Like last night, it was, helping Will get into the costume during that quick change. Making sure everyone's got water, making sure no one needs anything. Like it's just a lot of like checking in with people. And then, making sure that the guest gets there on time, which isn't really during the taping, but gets there on time, gets through hair and makeup, gets their mic on, gets back to their car at the end, stuff like that.
All right.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. It's the taping days, honestly, are kind of easy for me, where it's just like, I have the 10 steps that I need to do. And once those are done, sometimes there's a curveball thrown in where we need to put antlers on Will, but usually it's pretty much similar.
So it sounds like you're doing more just like small housekeeping and like you're almost like an Airbnb host day of. It's more that you're doing the work ahead of time.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly work ahead of time. It's mostly a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, just calling agents and saying, please let so-and-so come on the show. I know they want to. Yeah. I know you might not want them to, but I know they want to. It's a lot of that stuff.
Now, is a show like there was like the Everything is Terrifying episode where you just had a rotating wall of like just character actors and characters and characters and characters. Is that something that's more legwork for you in just processing all of that in time for the show?
Yeah. Just making sure everyone is in the right place at the right time, and then also this half in particular, we have Drew's been helping out a lot with the character actors,
Yeah.
which has been great. He's like sort of, I'll help take care of them until around when the guest gets there, and then when the guest gets there, we'll switch off, and he'll be sort of in charge of guiding them around. But for that one, it was kind of, I needed someone else's help just because there was, I don't know, 8 people
Yeah.
or something like that, like 8 extra people. Um, yeah, that was a tough one, just for sheer. Okay, have you signed this? Have you signed this? Okay, give me this, give me this. All right, and here we go. Now everyone, let's move. Let's move back down. All right, we're going over. Just making sure everyone is where they need to be when they need to be is sort of uh, probably the biggest thing on those kind of days.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't mean to put you on blast, but when I was there visiting the
Do it.
show, I was setting up to do my interview with Gethard, and like you seem to just be like, I'm killing time, man. You seem to have
Kind of,
all the time in the world. You
kind
stopped
of.
in, we chatted for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
I
fun to
mean,
see
show
that when
days.
so many people running around.
Yeah, show days are. I mean, I'm sure plenty of people on the show will tell you that I'm like that every day of the week, and you know what? It might be true. It might not be. Um, Show days are a little more relaxed for me though, just because once the room is set up and all their paperwork is signed and we're good to go, it's sort of like I'm just working like a normal day for future weeks just to make sure I can, get ahead of the game a little bit.
Yeah. Now, we were talking a
Yeah.
bit before we went live about
Hmm.
how late your night was last night. We talked a bit with
Hmm.
Sarah about how late some of the nights get at the show. How are you feeling
Yeah.
right now?
Right now I'm fine. I'm doing fine. I mean
You were being more dramatic than that before we went live.
I believe I said the phrase "I'm tired all the time," which is true. I sleep a lot, but it's true, guys.
Yeah,
True.
it's true.
Yeah, no, I got home at, I don't know, I got home at probably 3 o'clock last night. Took a cab home with everyone's favorite writer, Nicole Dressbell. She's
Yeah.
great. She's the
Love Nicole.
best. I think she's right in telling Gethard not to get rid of the glasses and go for LASIK surgery.
Yeah.
It's part of the brand. You need
Yeah.
them.
You don't
And
think that
then
he would
got
just go
back.
for false lenses at that point?
I feel like that's ringing false and not true to his character.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true. That's true.
he's all about being real,
Yeah,
not
you're right.
false lenses. Yeah. Yeah. So I got home around 3 last night, and then we don't have to go in until 1, which is nice. Day after show.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good schedule. And especially for me because a lot of the people I deal with are LA based, so I really can't do a ton until 12 or 1 anyways once
Yeah.
people get into the office. So that's kind of an ideal day for me.
Now, Mary's pulling out in the comments that Drew Carey did the surgery and wore fakies. So where do we stand on Drew Carey's believability? And
Listen, I'm not here to talk shit about Drew Carey. We love Drew Carey.
sounds like somebody's trying to book Drew Carey.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel strongly about it. I don't know. Is Drew Carey's brand still the same as it always was? I feel like
I don't
he's
know.
drastically different.
Yeah,
I
I feel
think he's so
weird.
much different than he was 10 years ago.
I feel weird when I see him on Price is Right because I associate him with late 90s, early 2000s Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's great. He's still great. He's still very funny. But I think it's a very different Drew, Mary. And I think you can change your brand, but people always remember the brand that they first knew you by.
All right, that's like everybody's favorite era of SNL is whenever they were in their teens. Yeah, okay, I got
Exactly.
you.
The 0607 cast is great, you know?
0607 is your cast? All right.
I don't know if that's actually the cast I just said to you.
I was raised
It's
on
probably around there.
I was raised on cable reruns of older SNLs, so I have a complete whack sense of time
Yeah.
compared to like the age I actually was when the SNL cast when I was actually that age.
I'm trying to think of when I was probably like 2004 I started watching, so anything after that is like that's like peak me, I think.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you interned at Sesame. We talked a bit about you wearing many hats. We'll get into them a little bit. ASCAP talent producer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
George Lucas Talk Show, which I've seen out here in LA, I think both times that
Yeah.
it's run out here.
Oh,
Amazing
good.
show.
Yeah. It's very fun.
How do you find the time
We
to do all this?
Here's another plug. Got a show this Friday, midnight, UCB East, the George Lucas Talk Show. We got Mike Carlson from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. We got Becky Drysdale, who's a writer on Key and Peele. She's very funny. And then today we booked, oh boy, and I can't remember his name. I think his name is, I didn't book him, Griffin booked him. His name is Jordan Hoffman, and he's the host of the official Star Trek podcast.
Oh, damn.
So there.
And is this the Willow show?
This is the Willow show. We're going to be talking about Ron Howard's Willow, which George Lucas produced. So that will be fun. But now I totally forgot your question because I was too busy being a plug monster.
Plug-in. No, I think I was asking you the like candle question of like, how do you find the time to do it all?
Yeah, it's a lot, but I like to get really ahead on ASCAT, especially when I know I'm going into production on something. So like I'm kind of booked out for the next month and a half basically on that. You know, yeah. I mean, obviously there's going to be dropouts and stuff a few days before for some stuff, but I just like to get it out of the way early because I know that Gethard's going to be taking up a lot of my time, which is how it should be. But yeah, it's tough keeping track, and you always have to be looking at your calendars to be like, okay, but am I good? Do I need anything else? It's just a lot of email sending, a lot of explaining and begging and pleading for people.
Are you having to explain to people like there's this comedian, he does a show where he in character is George Lucas and does not break? Like, is that the explaining that you're referring to?
I mean, luckily, yes, that is a big part of it. Luckily, a lot of the people that we have on George Lucas are people that I've had on ASCAT or something like that. So like they know who Connor is, they know who I am, and you sort of build up that trust with them doing a 7:30 show on a Sunday to then ask for the midnight show on a Friday, which it's tough, but we've been super lucky. We get really good people and we get good crowds for being such a late show. Like it close to fills up pretty much every month. And it's a lot of fun. And then the next few months are going to be tough because Griffin's going to be real tired because he's shooting the Tick season 2, but it's always, he likes doing the show, and it's, it's super fun to have him there.
Now, when Connor has done the George Lucas Talk Show out here in LA, have you helped him with booking out here too?
A little bit. I'm trying to think of who. A lot of times it's like his friends. So I bet you saw the one with like Ben Schwartz, Adam Conover, Amy Mann, like that one.
Yeah, that was insane.
Those were pretty much him. Yeah, it's sort of tough just because I don't have as many LA connections out there, just from not being out there. But I'll help him send out feelers and see if anyone's around, it's fun. It's a fun show to book, and everyone who does it, I don't think we've ever had anyone who's done it who's not ended the night being like, that was super fun, I'm glad I did it,
Well, the weird thing about that show is that it's either somebody either in the Lucas world or a fan of the Lucas world, and so they can run with it, or Amy Mann came out and like out the gate, Amy Mann was just like, just so we're clear, I've never seen a Star Wars.
Yeah, which is great. We had Nicole Byer on probably like a year and a half ago, maybe. She came on and she had never seen one. She's the best. She's so funny. And Connor was like, because we know how funny she is and how quick she is, Connor was like, okay, Nicole, I want you to tell me the story of Star Wars. Give me the whole movie in your head from just stuff that you've picked up over the years, like anything that you think you might have heard, like give it to me straight. Let me know what you think this is. And it was just so funny of her being like, I don't know, there's like a ball in the sky and they're there's like a big dog. I don't know what's going on. Like, it was just so funny. And I love having people on who have no idea, just because Connor goes a mile a minute with being, with his references, and just like, everyone, a lot of people in the audience will understand because they've come to a bunch of shows when he's like, my friend Steve, everyone knows he's talking about Steven Spielberg. Yeah. And the people up on stage will be like, you lost me a little while. Like, it's just funny seeing people's reactions to such an insane insane concept. And we've been going, we just hit 4 years a few months ago.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun though.
My roommate, I try to convince him on like Gethard show stuff in general. I've had a little bit of a hard time getting him on that, but I took him to see George Lucas talk show, and he's gone with me to both of them that have been out here, and he's like,
amazing.
Anytime George Lucas is coming out here, let me know.
Amazing. I hope we get to do more out there. It's always I always want to go out, and then it just turns out being like a bad weekend, and I just can't go out.
Yeah.
But I hope we get to do another one, because I would love to fly out and do one out there.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I would love for there to be another George Lucas talk show out here. Well, hey, I don't want to take up any more of your Wednesday night. It was very kind of you to come out and talk to us. Now, I've been asking some folks from the show at the like post end of the interview if there's any message you want to get out to the Geth heads at large here. Whether or not you want that to be a positive or aggressive message is up to you. Yeah.
I feel like you've got me down to a T. You know me really well. No, let's think. I don't know. I just thank you for sticking with it and everything. It's been a long ride, and I've personally been on it since 2012, I think, early 2012, pretty close to the early public access, and just seeing, like we were talking beforehand, how I feel like I used to know everybody's names, and now there's so many people in this group where I'm like, I don't know your name, and that's super rad. Just to have seen this thing grow so much over the years, and I feel like it wouldn't have happened without this group in particular, because these are the people who are sounding the horns and making all their friends watch and forcing anyone possible to listen to it. So thank you very much, and it's hopefully you guys will be with us until our dying days.
Oh boy, what an ominous way to leave it.
Yeah.
We'll leave it with this though. Sarah Davis chiming in one last time in the chat saying, Patrick, get back to work.
I can't. What do you want me to do? Sarah.
All right.
Come on.
Patrick, we'll leave it there. Thanks again for talking with me, and we'll see you down the road, man. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
All right. See ya. Oh boy, did I just screw the pooch here? Oh man. Oh, there you go. There you see my desktop. Hey, there we are. Well, hey, thanks to Patrick for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for submitting questions as always. That was real good. Thank you, Sarah, for chiming in here and giving Patrick a hard time with us. So anyway, guys, if you want to see the full archive, go to dumbthing.com/aftertcgs. Murph's interview is really good. David Bloveband, all these great interviews.
Eloise says, Persephone, please, don't be mad.